For almost a year now here at Emmanuel, we've been talking about a special relationship we have with an organization called Food for the Hungry. I experienced this relationship with FH firsthand as I had the opportunity to travel to Nicaragua last month. In my preparation before the trip, I was made aware of both the physical and the spiritual poverty and was excited to be able to go and be involved in part of what we are doing there. Part of our relationship with FH is sponsoring children in this country. Through these child sponsorships, we've had the pleasure of building some fantastic relationships with the people in Nicaragua. From the day of its founding, this country has experienced corruption and lack of trust between neighbor and government agencies alike. The sad reality has only been reinforced by the mishandling of relief funds that were given for the 1972 earthquake that hit the capital city of Managua, and Hurricane Mitch that struck in 1998, causing widespread flooding and damage. For the past 7 years, Food for the Hungry has developed many positive relationships with churches, leaders, and families. It is within these groups that FH has raised up people who have helped continue the transformation of this impoverished country. FH has concentrated their efforts in an area along the northwestern coast of Nicaragua, stretching from outside Managua to the departments of León and Chinandega, toward the Honduran border. Here at ECC, our efforts and our relationships have focused specifically on 3 communities within this area: Terencio, Amea, and El Porvenir. All 3 are located just outside the city of Chinandega. The community of Terencio has been established for over 50 years. It's made up of small land farmers whose land was purchased and bought up by large plantations. These families now work as laborers on these plantations and can make up to about $60 per month. However, because work is scarce and is not stable, it's hard to find it if it's lost. There are approximately 1,500 people in Terencio, 270 of which are children under the age of 12. Water is accessible from hand-dug wells and subsidized by a centrally located water tower that is regulated by the government and often goes dry in the summer heat. Houses are modest and often constructed of just cinder block. As we visited this community, we were able to see the progress that has been made, yet the work that is still to be done. There are 2 projects that FH would like to start in each community. The first is to construct feeding areas that will allow for hygienic preparation of food and offer greater nutritional value for children. Secondly, FH plans to create income generation programs where individuals will be taught skills to become self-sufficient. Such activities will most likely include family and school gardens and skilled trades such as craftsmanship. These programs are critical to the longevity of these communities and for future generations to come. Amea and El Porvenir are much smaller and younger communities, and they're made up of families that were displaced and relocated by the government due to flooding following Hurricane Mitch. Many of these men, women, and children live along an abandoned railroad line in simple housing that's made up of scrap materials such as scrap wood, cardboard, plastic, and metal. These are very humble homes, providing little protection from the elements and little to no protection from the intense heat of the summer months. Just last month, our team traveled to this country and spent the majority of our time in the community of Amea. We helped construct an additional classroom and built relationships with these wonderful people. In spite of their tremendous obstacles, I saw joy, hope, and a resolve that was inspiring. Matter of fact, just last week, Pastor Denny shared with you a story about the children of Amea creating a soccer field so that they could have a team and play other communities. This is part of that resolve that we witnessed while getting to know them. The people of Amea desire a better future for their families. They just lack the means and the resources that we are so accustomed to having available to us. The one thing they don't lack is the determination to work hard to reverse the state in which they are currently living. Last week in eLife, I shared with you a little bit about the partnership we have with Food for the Hungry and relationships that are built through the Child Sponsorship Program. I also shared with you some of the daily obstacles that Nicaraguan families encounter. This week, I want to tell you about one particular person I got to know during our trip to Nicaragua. While we were there, our team served in a few different areas. As you already know, we helped construct a classroom as well as lead VBS for children. In addition to that, we distributed Bibles, visited and prayed with families, and participated in a prayer walk through each community. When you sponsor a child, you are helping Food for the Hungry assist these communities in maintaining a consistent and focused effort to resolve the issues they face. For the children and their families, these issues limit their ability to reach their God-given potential. He's my sponsor child, and from the day I picked up this packet out in the lobby, I've prayed for him and I've asked God to provide for him. This picture hangs on my refrigerator at home and in my office. And for a long time, it was just a picture of a little boy who I wanted to help have a better life. But then God gave me an opportunity to connect with him on a personal level. From the first day we arrived in EMEA, this little boy captured my heart as I got to know his personality, his smile, and his sense of humor. I was able to visit his home and meet his brothers and parents. I was pleased and inspired as I watched him interact with his family and see that he was being raised with morals and values that will serve him well as he grows up. During the visit at his home, I was able to give him a children's Bible and pray for him. I was also able to give his father a Bible, encouraging him to lead his family by its message. He even came out of his shell and showed me a magic trick that he had perfected. Before I left their home, his father thanked me for sponsoring and for praying for the family. I sensed sincerity in his voice, and I was truly honored to be connected with this family in this way. My connection is now deeper than a packet with a picture on it. I've seen his environment. I've tasted his food. I've laughed and played with him, and I've come home with a better understanding of the issues they face. I was blessed to spend a week with him, and my life will never be the same. And my hope is that his won't be either. My prayer is that through the message of the Bible and the funding, support, and training that FH is providing, grow up to be a God-fearing man and change the world around him.